An astonishing discovery has been made. A letter from the Roman Aurelius Lentulus has surfaced, providing a detailed description of Jesus Christ. Aurelius, who saw Jesus with his own eyes and knew him closely, wrote several letters to Caesar in Rome, recounting everything he witnessed. Today, we are going to explore every aspect of this description, and by the end of this video, your perception of Jesus might completely change. In many parts of the world, paintings and artwork depict Jesus as a man with fair skin, blue eyes, and long hair. But did Jesus really look like that? What did he actually look like? This is a question we often ask ourselves. Let's discover the answer. If you believe in God and are watching this video, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. What we generally know about Jesus' physical appearance comes from movies, images, and accounts passed down over 2,000 years. Based on the Bible and more recent scientific studies, we can have a better idea of what he might have looked like. The discovery of Aurelius Lentulus' letter caught the attention of the entire world because it provides a detailed account of Jesus' appearance. Being an eyewitness who saw him personally and frequently wrote to Caesar in Rome. Therefore, it's important to analyze how this man described Jesus. For many centuries, especially in the West, the most common image of Jesus Christ is that of a man with fair skin, long wavy hair, usually light brown or blonde, a beard, and often blue eyes. However, the Bible does not provide a physical description of Jesus, and all evidence suggests that his appearance was likely very different from these artistic representations. Church leaders of the 2nd century, like Justin Martyr and Origen, referred to the book of Isaiah 53 to indicate that Jesus' appearance was not remarkable. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. Additionally, Origen and others mention that Jesus had a more common appearance, far from the idealized images seen in art. Psalm 45 describes Jesus as the most beautiful of men, suggesting that each person may have perceived Jesus uniquely according to their spiritual experience. St. Augustine also commented on this, arguing that although the imagined representations of Jesus are infinitely varied, he had only one true appearance. According to St. Augustine, how we imagine Jesus does not influence our salvation. What really matters is recognizing him as a human being. In the 4th century, Bishop Eusebius of Jerusalem explained that the Savior appears in different ways to each person according to their needs. For those who need joy, he reveals himself as a vine. For those seeking a path, he is the door. For those in need of intercession, he is a high priest. And for sinners, he is a sacrificial lamb. Jesus adapts to everyone while maintaining his unchanging essence and dignity as the Son of God, like a caring doctor and teacher who adjusts to our limitations. It's interesting to note that the earliest representations of Jesus depict him as youthful and idealized. However, after Roman Emperor Constantine legitimized Christianity in the 4th century, the images of Christ began to change significantly, with the bearded Christ figure becoming predominant. This shift may be linked to the newfound security to display important relics, such as the Mandilion. Many scholars believe that this relic is what we know today as the Shroud of Turin and the Veil of Veronica, which are considered to have miraculous images of Christ created without human intervention. The only physical description of Jesus that we have comes from a copy of a letter sent by the Roman Publius Lentulus to Emperor Tiberius, found in a monastery, along with other ancient documents. According to this copy, the original letter is from the 12th year of the reign of Roman Emperor Tiberius. Historical records indicate that a Roman named Lentulus was in Judea during the trial and crucifixion of Jesus, and his influential family is mentioned by the Jewish historian Josephus in his work Antiquities of the Jews. However, the authenticity of this letter is questioned by some scholars. In the letter, Lentulus describes Jesus as having a noble and expressive face, light and slightly wavy hair, dark and arched eyebrows, intense blue eyes, and an extremely graceful expression. He mentions that Jesus had a long nose, a beard that was almost blonde and not very long, and long hair that had never been cut. His neck was slightly inclined, which made him appear neither severe nor arrogant. Jesus' face, tanned in the color of ripe corn, displayed seriousness, wisdom, gentleness, and kindness, with no signs of anger. This description can be complemented by the information obtained from the Shroud of Turin. Professor Giovanni Giudiga Cordiglia, an expert on the shroud and a university professor of forensic medicine, analyzed the data and concluded that the man wrapped in the shroud was of great beauty and remarkable stature, standing about 6 feet tall with perfect physical proportions. The cloth shows that he had a soft and gentle face, a broad and straight forehead, a straight nose slightly inclined downward, and large eyes that conveyed both wisdom and kindness. This surprising discovery, if authentic, could provide a new perspective on how we visualize Jesus Christ and deepen our understanding of the man who lived over 2,000 years ago. Jesus' slightly prominent cheeks, according to anthropometric analyses, suggest that Christ had a physical condition far superior to that of the average man. His cranial capacity is estimated to have been around 1,575 cubic centimeters, indicating a large head with a cranial capacity coefficient of 95. This suggests that the weight of his brain was approximately 1.5 kilograms, well above average, characteristic of someone with extraordinary genius. In 1940, the artist Warner Salmon created the painting Head of Christ, which became extremely popular, reproduced in hundreds of millions of items such as prints, plaques, bookmarks, greeting cards, and even products like clocks and coffee mugs. Stephen Prothero, author of the book American Jesus, comments that the popularity of this image transformed Jesus from a familiar figure into a national icon in the United States, recognizable by people of all races and religions. According to Prothero, this representation of Jesus has become the most common in the world, surpassing even Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. Head of Christ is an object of personal devotion and also academic study. In the 1990s, a study funded by the Lilly Endowment investigated the impact of Solomon's art on religion in America. Art historian David Morgan coordinated the project, which resulted in the publication of a collection of essays and conference papers under the title Icons of American Protestantism. The Art of Warner Salmon. During the project, Morgan collected over 500 personal responses about Salmon's work. The majority of respondents expressed that the image appealed to them because it looked exactly like they imagined Jesus, considering it the most accurate representation of what he might have looked like. An interesting perspective given that no one in the 1990s could have witnessed Jesus' actual appearance in the first century. Morgan suggests that the sense of authenticity and widespread admiration for Salmon's Head of Christ can be partially attributed to the portrait's almost photographic qualities, which give it a realistic appearance, making it seem like a personal memory. He notes that the softly blurred contours and subtle lighting resemble studio photographs of family members and loved ones that many people carry with them. Another aspect that potentially enhances the public's affection for this image is the fact that Jesus is depicted in a close-up from the shoulders up, isolated from any temporal, spatial, or narrative context. This allows people to place Jesus in their own context, and since there is no interaction with other figures in the painting, it provides a more personal and intimate connection with the figure represented. Jesus' gaze in the painting adds to this sense of closeness and connection. Remember that Jesus was also seen as an ordinary person. He wasn't considered handsome or attractive, and was even ridiculed and spat upon. People often judge based on outward appearance, but that's not what Christians should do. Our true worth doesn't come from our looks, popularity, or attractiveness. Our value comes from God's love for us, as we are made in His image. Sometimes it can be more challenging to understand the image of someone with eyes like blazing fire and a voice like rushing waters than that of a simple Galilean peasant. Or in moments when we feel deeply spiritually moved, it may be harder to accept Jesus as someone without physical attractiveness than as someone with a light that outshines the sun. However, it is not necessary to know Jesus' physical appearance to feel the Spirit's confirmation that He is our Savior. We don't need an exact mental image for Christ's atonement to work in our lives. It's also not essential to see His face now, to recognize it as familiar and beloved in the future when we have the opportunity to meet Him again. No matter how curious we are about Jesus, all the faithful who have been baptized in His name can be sure of one thing: the day will come after our earthly lives have ended, when Jesus will welcome us at the heavenly tribunal, and we will see Him face to face in a reality that transcends the barriers of time and space. Click now on the video appearing on the screen to learn more about the subject. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel now.